I swear, if it isn't OBS deciding, you know what, I'm gonna crash, bye. I'm a crash. Oh well. I'm just reposting.
Okay. I'm thinking the /live link will work if it's the same stream.
Mm-hmm.
It should take like I think an hour before it actually disconnects or before it actually defaults to ending the stream.
Oh, it did right away, unfortunately, on my end. But it's alright. Bam.
Back to the live. There we
Back.
are.
We're back.
All right. I will do a quick
Yeah.
reshare here. Oh, I also have to get rid of a spammy reply.
Oh no. There's a spammy reply already?
Yeah, one of those guys that ats your name and like 50 others in the same tweet.
Oh. Yeah, I hate when that happens. Ugh.
If I go to my profile and then just reply to that, technical blip should
Darn you, OBS! Oh, it's good. Plus side is the webcam fiasco is now deleted forever.
Ah, that's what you were deleting.
Yep. Just embarrassing. Like,
all right, so this could actually be, if you're doing, like, I'm thinking since we're using the entire upper area for the for what's happening in animation, it could actually swap, like that could be for versus mode. If we do a solo mode, then we would have the score counter up top.
mm-hmm.
So we could probably use the same panel container for both.
Okay, in that case, would you want me to do like a background for the dark side of the rainbow, or just do a number counter for?
I'd say just a number for now. Let's. I know I'm going to make this too complicated if you let me. The score counter for Brazen Blade was going to be, well, not was, is going to change color and style depending on who's making the most score, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing as the serious character, then the score will become more red. If you're playing as the silly character, it'll become more violet. Mm-hmm. If you're playing as the mage, I believe it'll become a lighter tint.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're playing as the sci-fi XP, then it'll become a darker shade. And if you're playing as the fifth character, then it'll take on kind of a 3D shimmery look.
Yeah. But no. I'm trying to think. We should probably do simple for a scoreboard because I'm
so
already
black
thinking
background,
rainbow,
white number.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, we already got one rainbow. Let's not add more. That's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, do simple, then add to it later if you want. Yeah.
Maybe do.
So let's do.
Since the border is the inner part of the frame is black. Why not do white? So you've got the color on the border.
Just white text.
Yeah.
So add a label. So under scene, press plus and look up label.
Oh, under scene. Scenes.
That's script. The scene panel is in the upper left.
Oh, sorry. Now where do? What did you say? Press what?
plus to add
Okay.
to add a scene.
All right.
And we'll be looking for a label.
Doot.
So you don't get stuck on something for too long. Yeah, yeah. So we'll just add a placeholder 7-digit score
Yeah.
to fill that label.
I can't
So,
spell
in
my
the text-
brain. DID. My brain. I'm sorry.
In the inspector on the right, there's a big blank spot labeled text. So just put in your favorite 7-digit number there.
Huh? Where?
And on the right side, inspector.
And oh, right here. Right here. 1812. I don't know. No, wait.
Where is our label?
Oh. Well, there's no way to put you. Oh well. Wait, hold up. OU812. There we go. Yes, I know there's a U there, but it.
It's placeholder data. We just needed to take up some space.
So it's OU812.
Over under 812.
Or, oh, U812.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's unique.
Yeah. I remember having a shirt with a dog on it that had, oh, U812.
Oh, I'm seeing some visual glitching.
Oh no. Gosh.
I'm glad we picked a simple. I'm glad we picked a simple thing to do today, just in case we'd run into some technical difficulties. It might be getting time to look around for a new computer.
I mean, my computer should be fine. Is it back to normal? Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to get back to normal on my end here. Okay, I see it now. So double click on that 7-digit label that we've established in the scene panel.
All right.
Left side.
Oh.
I'm trying to find where it is.
Clearly
Usually
not
double.
7 digits.
Oh, there it is. It's in
but-
the middle of the scene. Yeah.
Dot, dot. There we go. And for consistency's sake, it'll be a 3.
Right, gotta set my devices to do not disturb. All right. So now, I'm not sure we need to resize this. If I'm recalling the tutorial that I followed correctly, we would then want to add. Okay, the 7-digit is a child of Sprite 2D, and Sprite 2D is where our animation is going to go, so that is correct. Wait, if you click on Sprite 2D, let us make sure that that is what I think it is.
The board?
It's the whole board. Okay, it's the image of the whole board.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So we take 7-digit, add, or no, we take Sprite 2D, or we click Sprite 2D, and we add a panel holder.
Panel container?
Panel container, yes.
Which one?
Um, I should really have Godot open myself as well. I believe it should just, there should only be one option for panel container. Or rather, every node should be named uniquely. All right, 7 digits should be a child of panel container, so drag 7-digit into panel container.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Now, I believe if you resize panel container, then 7-digit will also resize to fill it. Okay, it does not, but it does stay centered, so that's a little bit, that saves us a little bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to edit the properties of panel container so that 7-digit resize that 7-digit resizes dynamically.
All right.
Layout, local. Oh, maybe layout first. Let's say if we could look for a right aligned. Container sizing, localization tooltip, focus mouse, input theme override. So what if we change the anchors to container sizing. Okay, that's good. Fill horizontal, fill vertical.
Doesn't really do much.
Yeah, it didn't do anything there, I see.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
So transform, 2 changes. Oh, that's the transform of the panel container itself. Resizing with panel container. I'm just looking at the other tutorial now, seeing what I can. Okay, I see. We might need a grid container between the panel container and the 7-digit. It'll be a grid of 1 by 1.
So.
Hi, kitten.
Grid.
He's just sticking his head out of the swim bag to stare at me now.
Oh. You said grid map? Or?
Grid container. Yeah, most of the... What I'm looking at in this tutorial is mostly containers inside of containers.
Contain!
So if we go back 1 chapter to look at the grid container itself. So what he does is he mixes symbols and text. So we aren't using TextureRect yet, but we might. I'm a little surprised that we didn't use a grid container for the actual game pieces themselves. But now that we've actually coded it, I feel like because we've coded it, we've made it a little more efficient, although that usually isn't the case with high-level stuff like this. But I'd also rather not go back and rebuild it from scratch when it's working so nicely now.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of finding how to randomize it properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you run it, it's randomizing pretty good. We just need. Oh yeah, that was another thing we were working on. Filling the board without making a match.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
were, I
cat.
guess we were halfway through doing that last time.
Yep.
I guess we could do that in. We could make some progress on that next time as well.
Okay. I feel
Yeah,
like
right now.
animations for the characters or anything, if there are, well,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
not so much on the mobile version, I guess.
Like I imagine the animations themselves will mostly be like having them dab a paintbrush on their canvas, and you don't really get to see what their canvas is until the match is over.
Hmm.
But either mixing paints on their palettes, dabbing the paintbrush on the canvas itself,
Ooh,
and it'd be
for the
seeing.
canvas reveal, it could be like a 3D canvas flipping towards the screen where it
Yeah,
shows what it is.
I was thinking like I'm imagining a sprite of the canvas flipping around, but only on the last frame do you see what the painting is.
Hmm.
Making it 3D might be a little too complicated for what is mostly a 2D game.
Okay. There.
But we will have. I was thinking another thing we could do is if we were going to do an art stream today, then it would be of the each character's final images from worst to best, and then we would have various color filters for like if they did if you made a match of only one color or two or three, and what they would be.
Hmm. Oh, the paintings is just the painting itself. If it won, but it did an average score or whatnot, it's just kind of it's itself. If it lost, it's the
Oh,
stick
so they do a
figure.
self portrait,
Huh?
like the average painting would be a self portrait, or
No, the sentient painting?
oh, the painting's painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be itself.
And
Yeah, it's got an ego.
yeah, the normal one, like if the painting won, but it was like basically a technicality. Maybe the other person did score too much and that person did put too much effort. The painting would just be itself. If it's high score, it's more like a hyper realistic person.
Yeah,
And if it's low end, it's like a stick figure.
yeah. I remember we were talking about what the hot dog guy's paintings would be too, or like if he lost, he wouldn't make a painting at all. But if he won, then he would make a painting of a hot dog
I thought if it
using only
lost,
hot dog
it would
ingredients.
be a napkin with a ketchup and mustard
Oh yeah,
stain.
napkin with a ketchup stain.
Or just a canvas with a mustard and ketchup stain. Not even
Yeah, yeah.
just like a thumbprint, and
Just like a messy.
he's like, let me get this canvas. Okay, what do I do with
Yeah,
this? And as he's chowing on hot dogs, he's getting ketchup and mustard
yeah. It's just
everywhere.
splattering over the canvas. The mustard relish and ketchup are just
Hmm.
splattering all over the canvas, and the onions and whatever else you got.
I'm
Chili.
thinking probably just those two for simplicity. For medium, I think it would just be a cartoonishly drawn hot dog with a stick figure hand in him, like a stick figure with a smile,
Yeah,
like, ah!
like showing it to the viewer.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
an arrow pointing to him and it's saying, me!
me. Yeah,
And then for high end, it's like something out of Michelangelo where it's just like this
yeah.
god hand holding a hot dog.
Well, I want to say it's like if he does well, like he still thinks he's at a hot dog eating contest. So most of his paintings are just like random. The 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 paintings just happen to be what splatters onto the canvas as he's eating hot dogs voraciously.
Oh, it
And
could
like
be a
if he wins the match,
masterpiece with
then it
ketchup,
just
mustard,
yeah,
relish, and onions. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yep. It's gonna be like a Monet with ketchup
Yeah.
and mustard.
Monet of mustard.
Monet and mustard. There we go.
If we give each character their own like campaign, then that'll be like the title that he gets at the end of his story.
Hmm.
Win a painting contest by confusing it for a hot dog eating contest.
Hmm. Ooh, the child prodigy. I'm thinking if I can find a setting for this, see if I can draw just crayon drawings.
Ooh,
So
crayon brush and rebel, right?
hopefully there probably is something, but
I'm sure there's a crayon stamp in GIMP, so there's got to be crayon brushes in most other drawing programs.
if it's a low end one, it's just a circle, sad face, crying.
Yeah.
Medium
Oh wait, no. I thought we were gonna give her finger paints.
could be finger paint. Oh, it could be finger paints and crayons.
Okay.
You know, something that you would see
Multi
a
mixed
kid
media.
play around with. Mostly, it's usually finger paints,
Hmm.
cheap watercolors, and crayons.
Okay. Yeah, I could just imagine the faded kind of that quality of school grade watercolors.
Phoenix, we stand hot dog guy.
Yeah, she's saying Clip will definitely have crayon brushes.
And if not, Rebel might.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario,
We each
Microsoft
use different.
Paint.
Yeah. We each use different drawing programs. I use GIMP, and you use Rebel, while Phoenix uses Clip Studio.
I use Clip Studio for
Okay.
drawing characters and such.
Yeah. I've kind of been looking at some other stuff as well, like Inkscape and Krita
Hmm.
for vectors specifically.
But no, and then I'm trying to think for a middle, like you did okay, but it wasn't really your best effort. It could just be like a house with
Yeah,
uh,
the kind of drawing that you'd stick up on your fridge.
yeah, maybe a little nicer, well done, but not by
Yeah,
much.
because she is a prodigy after all.
And then the high end stuff is just like, how on earth did you create this with crayon and
Yeah,
finger paint?
like it looks like a digital. It looks like a professionally done digital abstract painting,
Hmm.
but it was done entirely with finger paints and crayons.
Yeah. And then gotta figure out what the art snobs do. Um, for the plagiarists, trying to think.
The plagiarists ought to be easy. It should look like anyone else's painting. It
Okay.
would look like a random, either their
Ooh,
opponent's paintings.
a knockoff of everyone's paintings.
Hmm. It would look like
Everyone's.
a knockoff of their opponent's paintings.
Yep. That
So if
one's
they
gonna
win
be a
against,
tricky one, but
like, if they
it'll
win
be
against
fun.
Hot Dog Guy, then it would look like what the Hot Dog Guy's paintings would look like, except with more colors and like basically just like theirs, but uncharacteristic.
You're right.
So
The
different
colors aren't
colors.
right. The
Ooh, stock photos. That's another. That's a good idea from Phoenix there.
hey, not a bad idea.
Hmm. I wonder if you could even have like a watermark. Like they'll somehow uh, pull a pull a painting out of their pocket and just like spread it on the canvas to make it look like theirs, and it has like a watermark, a Shutterstock watermark on it or something.
Yeah, no, we're doing that. We're doing that with the Shutterstock one. We got to. And we've got to find the stupidest looking ones for. That would be
Stock Mona Lisa.
the low end ones.
Hmm.
And let's see, the mid. Well, I don't know what the mid ones would be. Well, they could still be stock photos, just
Yeah,
better
I'd say
ones.
stock photos, but with the with the watermark scribbled out or painted over or something.
Yeah, over one of them. but you know how some of them have multiple ones everywhere?
Yeah, yeah.
Just have it over one of them, and they were too lazy
Because
to
yeah, they
just
want to.
continue.
Yeah, they want to pass this off as their own work. Maybe like the middle could actually be like a counterfeit money kind of thing. They painted a dollar bill.
There we go. And then the last one
Excellent.
could be the a copy of the opponent's.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Because then like they have successfully plagiarized or counterfeited.
like the hot dog guys one, like it could be almost like that Monet one, a Monet
Yeah,
mustard.
yeah.
But the yellow is probably something like, and as opposed to mustard yellow, it's probably something like sunflower yellow or something.
Mhm.
And if there's
Like it would
ketchup,
just be made
it's
of paints rather than made
yeah,
out of spilled hot dog ingredients.
right. Hmm. And then let's see. The child's one, that one has to be for like the plagiarisms in. That has to be done in MS Paint. I am not arguing
Yeah,
on that one.
I agree. Oh, I was just thinking about like animations too. Like when you see the two of them competing and one of them is hot dog guy, um, he has to have like the eating animations from River City Ransom, like where
Hmm.
he just like unhinges his jaw and his
Nom
whole
nom nom
his whole
nom.
head sort of squashes while he's chewing.
That'd be an interesting nod.
Yeah, my favorite thing in that game is still ordering smiles at the burger joint.
I know, such a simple thing. I wonder
Yeah,
if it would work doing pixel art for this as opposed to full on animation.
I
I don't
I
know.
would say it would pose a unique challenge. It would
Okay,
be it would be it would be sticking another challenge because like you can't assume that pixel art is easier
true.
than what you're doing right now. Like
You're
I don't
right.
want to call it traditional art because it's digital, but it's like it's what you do is a combination of digital and traditional,
Hmm.
and that is what we're putting into this game.
You're right.
When was the last time you talked to Guy? He would probably love hearing about your project. Guy
Ah,
with
it's been a while
Guy
since
who
I've talked to Guy. Ah,
who was it?
that
What
guy
was
who
his full
can't
name?
sing. He's a
Guy who
sweetheart.
can't sing. Okay.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in any servers for a while.
Hmm.
But yeah, it'd be good to get back in touch with
Yeah, but
him. All I remembered of his name was it was either Guy with or Guy who.
yeah, guy
I
who
want to say
can't
like
sing.
Guy with a hat or something like that.
Like, he was fun to play with as like in D&D because he would
Mm.
either play what was it last time? I don't remember his character last time, but I remember in Swordfall, his character was like the voice of reason amongst everyone.
All right. Yeah, I remember in my earlier D&D games, I always wanted to play like the militant good guy. So I was usually a paladin because see, I wasn't as into Final Fantasy IV back then as I am today. But I don't know the stereotypical like heroic type of figure. I imagine like lawful good paladin. But yeah, nowadays I know that those characters tend to be just the most annoying.
Mm. I
There's no art and animation. He's so hyped. Can't wait to see what he says if you're quiet and then. Oh, by the way, I made a game with Q. Lol.
but I
Uh-huh.
always go with I don't know. I like playing the wild characters, but I don't mind playing the reserved ones either. But just always characters with some weird quirk or something or another. Like,
Nowadays, if I'm looking at a party and there isn't anything that's glaringly missing, well, if there is something that's glaringly missing, I'll want to play that. But if there isn't, then I'll usually default to some kind of mage, some kind of
mhm.
uh, vanilla-ish mage.
Like the first campaign I played as Rayanne, and she was a sorcerer who was a sorcerer slash rogue, and that was a bundle of fun and chaos, and because she just wanted to steal everything, and then repercussions happened.
What were the repercussions?
Uh, for one, she stabbed some guy with a focus that shouldn't get blood on it.
Ooh.
For two, she found out she was related to some very important people. That couldn't have been helped. But for three, uh, she may have stolen said focus from a noble person who's now hunting her down. But you
Wow.
know, just little background details. And then,
Playing chaotic ones are more fun. I do not have fun unless there's a crazy twist.
yeah.
Playing Adriel was painful. I totally got sorry I was struggling playing him, but that was the best group of all time. I
Mm-hmm.
listened to Purple again this year. You could tell everyone cared so much and was really in tune with their characters.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But
Most personality I've seen in a group ever.
and then Luke's campaign,
Mm-hmm.
he did one where it was almost pre-apocalyptic of some bad thing creeping in and whatnot, and creepy stuff was hanging from the shadows. Um, Phoenix played.
Well, nothing to apologize for,
Yeah,
Phoenix.
no.
I'm glad that the chat is jumping today
Yeah,
because of you.
Phoenix played like a what was it, a Azamar, like a grumpy Azamar who had things that they had to attend to and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Uh, I don't remember what everyone's character was. There was D&G Geologist was in it. He was playing as a Warforge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what guy is it was for the life of me. I my brain is going blank here. Uh,
I'm not sure. Like Phoenix is going, yeah, I felt bad. I was not feeling him at all, and I'm still like war. The concept of warforges are still kind of new to me. I don't really play D&D that often, so I think they don't need to sleep, and they're kind of machine-ish. Like the only context I've seen warforged in recently was in the context of having a coffee lock or a cocaine lock, where you can basically give yourself unlimited spell slots if you do a little bit of hacky metagaming,
mhm.
like a robot with feelings. Okay,
Yeah, and then
but yeah, if you've ever seen the coffee lock video from Animated Spellbook, it's apparently like, okay, it's a warlock, but you use the power of the pact to give yourself spell slots,
mhm.
but those spell slots don't go away as long as you don't take a long rest. So what you do instead is you take short rests. Um, and so with each short rest, your pact power refreshes, which you can then turn into more spell slots.
Nice. And on that campaign, I played as a sorcerer. Well, no wait, a warlock as well. Um, Old Air Genasi warlock character who lived in
Okay.
the underground area and whatnot. Very Adams Family esque.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a campaign right now, in two campaigns. They're very slow moving campaigns, but in the first one, it's one of those situations where you're pulled from your real life into another. You're isekai'd, and you have just enough time to grab one thing from the real world. So I made a character that like you don't have to play as yourself. You can make a character. Um, so I played this jolly big, muscly kind of guy who works with metals and glass, and makes like metals and gems and stuff. And when he was pulled into the other world, the thing that he grabbed was a bag of gumballs, and the bag of gumballs became a magical thing where like each gumball does something weird to you temporarily. Like the first one I tried was a sky blue. What was it color? What was it flavored? I think it was um, melon soda or generic soda flavor.
Hmm.
And that one gave me a feather beard, which exploded if I got hit. And it, like, I think it deals damage to whoever hits you.
Hmm.
Then there was the pink one. The pink one does weird gender stuff to you. It might exaggerate gender signifiers that you have or swap your gender as long as you're chewing the gum.
Huh.
Um, and we're just slowly figuring out what that does. Like, I don't want to just scarf down the whole bag and just like systematically figure out what each one
Play
does.
the
But I
Bean
want it to be kind of
Boozled game.
yeah, yeah. I want it to be kind of a fun little surprise whenever there's otherwise like downtime going on. The other campaign is a bit more serious. Well, the one that we're in where is based on a phone game that itself is based on Swan Lake. So there's these two like brothers, and one of them's a swan, the other one's an owl or something, and they're both magicians. And there's an evil wizard, and like we're basically fighting against the evil wizard and traveling around the world and trying to find all the wizard's backup plans and take them out before finally taking him on. The other campaign is one where we're on an island and it's a little bit of a city builder
Hmm.
and also a little bit of a vampire hunting in a crypt kind of thing. So there's
Nice.
this underground area, there's undead everywhere roaming around at night, and the vampires follow the rule that they can't enter your house unless you invite them in. And of course, one of the vampires like immediately knocks on my door and asks to come in. And I'm like, no, go away. And it turns out like it's got the vampire has like a little kid's voice, so it's like I think two or three of the other players already let the vampire in,
That's when you're like, I
and
had a lot of Italian,
I
lots of garlic.
don't know. I don't know if garlic actually works. I mean, it should if we're following traditional vampire rules.
It's always so confusing. One thing works in one lore and one's completely useless.
Yeah, and then somehow one of the players is dating the vampire,
But,
so I guess they're safe, maybe.
I
But the
mean,
vampires also have like we have me and the players and the vampires have a mutual enemy, so we're going after we're prioritizing the mutual enemy first and like trying to put in safeguards that we don't like end up backstabbing each other.
like, listen, I know you want to kill me, but hear me out. There's someone worse than me or you, and they're right over there.
But yeah, my character in that one is I think a half elf. Uh, he's also a glassmaker. Okay, no wait. Banris. Well, the first campaign is kind of silly, so I named the character Banris Holmesdottir,
Mm.
and he wields a hammer and he works with metals and gems and stuff. And the hammer itself is like encrusted with gems. The weapon and yeah, the weapon that you get is given by the DM, and it's supposed to be like this super powerful legendary weapon kind of thing. So I have a gem hammer and shield kind of thing. It looks really nice. Um, the guy in the vampire campaign is a half elf glass worker. I'm not really sure what we're doing in terms of like town building. Well, we're building the town during the daytime, and we're keeping ourselves safe from vampires and other undead at night. And we're trying our best to like as far as we know, we're cooperating with the vampires, but the vampires do have a certain like temptation,
Mhm.
so we have to resist that. But they also follow contracts to the letter. So, well, as far as I know, my character suspects that they're trying to get around the contract that we've written with them. And yeah, he's a lot less trusting than Banris. I forgot what his name was. Oh wait, I remember. It was Sel de Terre,
Ooh.
Salt of the Earth. So he came from a farming family.
Oh, in my current one, my character came from a farming background. Now, my character is a tiefling, but her family is a mix of both tieflings and halflings. Like, her father is about as tall as her shin, horns and all. and she's a tiefling with wings. Her father has the wings as well, so. And she's just like, you know, it's kind of nice not having ceilings that my horns just kind of scrape the ceiling.
They have
She's
low ceiling houses.
low ceiling houses, and she's like, with the boots, about 6 feet tall. So she's just like, I'm finally, I finally have some headspace where I can just not bump into everything.
Yeah.
And she's very. She is a vegetarian because she learned how to talk with animals. And
Ah,
because she learned how to talk with animals, she's horrified of the idea of eating said animals.
hmm.
But she's okay with like milk and eggs and all this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she prefers to know like where the eggs come from first.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, she's a tiefling with a soul of a halfling, sort of, because she just talks about second breakfast and potatoes and
Second breakfast, yeah.
and she's very go with the
Okay.
flow, which is kind of an interesting thing because Paul from Swordfall, his wife is playing another character, Razel, which is a witch from out in the country and all this and that.
Hmm.
She's she's a little bit more okay. Let's do this thing, and then another character, played by Ori, is Nadine, which is like a fae which whose heart was broken into several pieces that we're getting.
Ah.
So she isn't fully herself, but she is all chaos. So with all three of
Oh well.
us, my character is the one that just goes with everything. My character, everyone confuses with a succubus, but my character's probably the normal of the three.
The most normal, yeah.
Yep.
It kind of makes me think of like this one time that I was asked to DM a campaign, and I started asking players with started by asking the players what kind of adventure they want,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted three different I think there were like 4 or 5 players, but they wanted like 3 different adventures combined. They wanted steampunk, they wanted anime, and they wanted um, something that takes place in like an alternate version of real life.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up combining them somehow. We didn't really get very far. I don't think we could agree on a time to do
Mm.
campaigns, but we ended up in a steampunk Alberta, and somehow it was coastal. So we had a boat, and we went treasure hunting in the boat, and we got to like a dungeon, and I completely forgot what we did then. Like I mapped out the dungeon. I think we were using Roll20,
Mhm.
so I mapped out the first dungeon that we were going to, and we didn't even get that far.
Yeah,
We couldn't line up our schedules.
understandable. But no, I'm trying to think. What was I gonna say? I lost track.
We were on a pretty long tangent there, didn't we?
Oh yeah, highlights, highlights, and hijinks. That was another thing that I like that
Ah.
Paul's been adding to his campaigns.
Hmm.
Hijinks are things that you'd point out, like, hey, you know, I didn't like this because XYZ. High hopes is what you hope is happening next turn, and highlights were things that you like this round.
Okay.
Usually not too many hijinks. If anything, it's a minor technicality.
Hmm.
But highlights, it's usually just character interaction or whatever shenanigans we did last time because so far
Okay.
it's been crazy. We got paid to have a cat pee everywhere to
I think
prevent
I remember you
weasels.
mentioning that earlier.
And because we did that, we got free magical gems because we had to acquire a thing, and we acquired the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But we needed a
You got the
distraction,
thing.
so we got a bunch of drunk weasels to do their thing,
Yeah.
and we faked a extermination. Fun
See, I don't
times.
remember any real crazy hijinks recently, other than that it seems um, there's always the one character that wants to like date the bad guy or date what seems to be the big evil bad guy. Which, like, if they were the bad guy, the campaign would be completely thrown off the rails. So probably not. But still,
It's funny. One of the characters, she's just like, nope, I want a harem of hot elf people
to
and dragons and such.
build the harem, they want to play Helltaker tabletop.
Yeah, but and then I don't know what result would want, but my character is probably the type who's like, nope, I got my loot, I'm happy.
Usually, if I play as the vanilla mage type, then their motivation will be, at least at the start, their motivation would be to um, explore and innovate in the magical realm, in either to make a spell or to make some new magical discovery. Of course, it's a goal that will change and probably um, refine as the campaign goes on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot the name to say the name of this character. My character, she goes by the stage name of Vixie, but her real name is Ethel Meyerбell. I figured, let's go by the stage name, and then people discover, oh, her name's Ethel.
It's not a very common name these days.
Mm-mm.
Although I can't say I haven't met someone named Ethel before.
Yeah. I had a teacher named Ethel, but,
But
I don't know. My brain is going blank. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Just in Baldur's Gate. Oh, I haven't met someone named Ethel in Baldur other than in Baldur's Gate. Okay.
Yeah. I need to play.
Yeah.
I've been playing more of the first game. So far, it's
Uh-huh.
pretty nice. I was telling Paul from the D&D campaign about that, and they're like,
Mhm.
"How does
Noober.
Baldur's Gate work on the Switch?"
I mean, same as it does on any system, really. I mean, unless you're talking about the lack of keyboard and mouse or something.
Yeah, I think because he's used to the PC ports.
Yeah. Like my memories of
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate are playing the very first
it
release
was.
of the first game,
Yeah, it was on
and it
sale,
was a
Phoenix as well.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Go ahead.
You you can continue now. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, like I remember my friend getting it and folding out this big folder of 5 CDs and putting it and playing it, and I'm playing this game, and it's very very similar to playing like Warcraft, except that when you walk up to someone, you can just talk to them instead of hitting them with an axe.
Hmm.
And looking at the videos that you're posting, it actually, like, I those memories are coming back. Oh, and one of the earliest bugs in Baldur's Gate 3 is that most of your attacks will miss if you are not wielding a bow. So if you don't want to lose every fight that you get into, give everyone in your party bows and arrows, because I think bows and arrows have at least a 50% chance to hit, whereas most other weapons have something like a 10% chance, and enemies will be using bows and arrows against you.
Yeah. Talking to Guy right now. I just decided to see how he's doing. Oh,
Always go for the high ground. Yeah.
yeah. Like,
I've seen like Larian Studios has done a pretty good job bringing Divinity Original Sin 2 to the Switch with online play as well.
oh,
So I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Baldur's Gate 3 either in development for Switch or for the Switch successor.
Hmm. I mean, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
Like I haven't seen a cartridge size that is too big for any of the games that you're
hi,
um
hello, how
that
are you
any
doing?
of the games that are out these days. Hey, guy W
Yeah,
was guy who can't sing, right?
yeah. How's it been? But yeah, we were going on a tangent about D&D.
Hmm.
So far, we're working on a yeah,
We're doing a little bit of interface stuff, and we're also
nice.
concepting out the characters that you'll meet in this game and that you'll go against.
Yeah,
So you got your pro tags who are just in this big painting contest, and the game itself is about matching colors, and the more colors you match, the more fancy the painting you make turns out,
hmm,
and whoever has the fanciest painting at the end of the match, uh, well, wins. And we have like we have a couple of counterfeiters, we have art traders, we have a sentient painting, and we have like our glass Joe for this game, who is a guy who thinks he's at a hot dog eating contest.
hmm. All right, let me load the concept here because might as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've got. I remember this one. We just saw so many matches right off the bat. Like the next thing we're gonna have to do is figure out how to populate the board without automatically making matches. And there's not just like three in a row. There's four in a row. Or wait, no, that was our original plan, wasn't it? That four in a row is a match, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Because we're starting with a low amount of colors. But yeah, you can swap any two as the game goes along. You can swap any two pieces as you like, but every time a piece is swapped, it like if a piece is swapped twice, then it gets discarded as wasted paint.
Hmm.
So that'll take up a space on your palette, which is on the right side. And of course, once someone's palette is full, the match is over.
Yep. Okay, so
I see you called up the characters back there.
yep. Let me close the test. Once OBS cooperates. There we go. So, let's see. Over here you have the counterfeiters. They look pretty
Yeah,
similar to the main characters, but not quite.
yeah. If they win a match, then their paintings are basically going to look like yours, but off somehow.
Yep.
And if they lose a match, then they'll just straight up have a Shutterstock painting or a like a stock image with the watermark showing. Or if they win with low quality.
Let me just
Uh huh.
bring up the main characters to the top layer so they are seen like here. Now it's a little cluttered, but we can fix that.
Ah, you've been doing VR chat stuff. I still haven't explored that yet, but I also don't have a VR set. But I've heard that you can do VR chat without a VR set.
Yeah. So here are the main characters. Those are the counterfeiters. Look a little similar, but very off.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they'll try and pass off their opponent's work as their own
Mm-hmm.
as they compete.
Hot Dog
And
Man.
if they can't do that, yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he doesn't realize he's at a painting contest. He thinks he's at a hot dog eating contest. If he somehow wins a match, then his paintings will be made out of like messily and hastily eating hot dogs, and the ketchup and mustard and relish and onions splattering onto the canvas.
mm-hmm. How were you said you were back into the battle bots and all that? How's that been?
Bots.
He's done BattleBot contests before.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like Robot Wars on TV.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to watch. When I found out, like, I don't remember exactly how I discovered Robot Wars, but the first thing I noticed about it was that the guy who was hosting the show was the same guy who plays as Lister on Red Dwarf. But so that got me into the show, and what kept me was like the matches, the matchups, and the games that they put them through.
Mhm.
Lister, yeah. at some point, uh, at some point, I'm going to put Butterfly through the Red Dwarf series. We just worked our way through Great Teacher and Nizuka recently, and we're catching up with Slayers now.
Yeah. Finally finished watching the original series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got through Slayers Next, Slayers Try, and we're watching through Slayers Revolution now.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot sillier than I remember it. I remember there being like some consistency in their magical lore, like enough to do a little bit of enough to write up a little bit of a canon if you wanted to plan out a game or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like feel like they've gotten a lot looser with that while doing Revolution
I can't get over the faces in GTO.
in GTO. Yeah. Every time someone is just thrown a little bit off balance, their face suddenly changes.
And it's usually either confusion, constipation, or bowel emptying.
Or like, yeah, or like total shock. Like their world is suddenly
Yeah.
their world is suddenly a whole different place.
Like the vice principal, whenever his car,
Yeah.
he's thinking his car is in danger. That's
Oh
bowel
my
emptying.
Krista. I think you played a one shot character with me based off Lena. Oh. But yeah, like I feel like if I wanted to play someone based off of my favorite anime characters, they would be rule breaking characters. They'd be too powerful. Because yeah, there's that guy. There's like Bobobo, who just really does seem to cheat and break the rules of
Oh
his
my
show
gosh.
to win his fights.
Are there any roles in Bobobo? Like, I only got past like maybe the first or second episode. I'm like, oh my gosh,
I tried rewatching it with the dub, and
the dub is so hard to
I
watch.
yeah, it uses a lot of Japan specific jokes and puns and things. I really don't think it would translate.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I really liked just episode 2 was just the best for me because he's just like there's this Medusa type of guy who has the power to turn people to stone, and Bobobo is playing along, going like, "No, I don't want to turn to stone," and then the next scene is like, "Oh no, you turned me into a carrot. Why did I become a carrot?" And he's still dismaying, and the Medusa guy is just like, What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Why didn't I turn him to stone?" And just everybody's panicking because Bobobo won't play along.
Yep.
The personality is what is the fun part? Yeah.
But no. Oh.
Do the personality. I see, yeah.
Mhm.
If I were to make a D&D character based off of an anime character today, I'd probably draw from Samurai Pizza Cats. Like some amalgamation of Speedy, Polly, and Guido.
Like,
Let's see, where were we? We described the counterfeiters
yep.
and the hot dog guy. Oh, the Cyclops.
Uh,
Oh, okay. What do you got next? The
start
painting?
with the master
Oh, the
painter.
Wise Man, yeah.
He is such a master.
His life is
He doesn't
painting.
even need
Yeah.
a paintbrush. His beard is a
Yeah.
paintbrush.
He takes care of his beard in such a way that it could serve as his paintbrush.
Yep.
We were
Paints.
actually we spent a little time figuring out what the color of the paint would be on the beard,
Mhm.
and because we were using a lot of like reds and blues,
Yeah.
I don't think we had very many yellows and greens at the time.
Hmm. So, and then we've got the painting here.
Yeah, the sentient painting, who is she chalk pastels or oil pastels? Because
I'm gonna
like
say chalk pastels because,
yeah,
guy,
okay, yeah, because
you probably
that book.
you may or may not remember this when I on Swordfall when I posted the picture of this snooty art book complaining about what
Hmm.
was it, chalk
Oil
pastels
pastels.
versus oil
Yeah,
pastels, and they were comparing it to it like a child's plaything. I'm
with
like,
crayons. Yeah.
I am not gonna not reference that with this
Hmm.
painting,
Yeah.
or
So
I
the
guess
painting is
technically not painting, but you know.
yeah. The painting is virtual. The painting is by virtue of being a painting elitist about what paintings should be.
Yep.
And then yeah, we've got little animations like if she's losing, then she'll like revert to a stick figure, and if she's winning, then she'll turn into like a Mona Lisa.
Mhm. And
So
then
that's what the paintings animations would be.
we got art collectors.
Yeah, the investors.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm gonna have like once I get to if I get a chance to animate these characters, I'm gonna have a lot of fun making this guy laugh and have his mustache curl and uncurl while he's laughing.
right. Part of my inspiration for the hair colors though, sort of, is like Bulma's hair colors in the Dragon Ball series. It ranged from that green to that blue.
Okay.
I don't know.
So they didn't really have it written down or anything, or did it like suddenly change from one to the other?
Oh, it changed every other episode with every different
Oh wow.
hairstyle.
Okay.
Like
I guess they never really maintained a canon.
paint. Well, I think it's an issue with paint mixing
Okay.
because it was a fine balance between blue and greenish blue.
All right. But yeah, you'll notice that on the on the right, her fan is made out of the painting.
Yeah. And the uh, they're both brother and sister. They'll get into a bidding war between each other. I'd like to think
Yeah.
this is the guy who bought the banana taped to a wall, and this is the guy who ate said banana on a wall,
Yeah.
not realizing it was art.
Yeah. Just saw free banana.
Yeah. Then we have Professor Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
I
This
don't,
guy and this guy wants to work with the imaginary colors, and I think if you look up if you do like a web search for colors like super orange or yellowish blue that is not green, um, those are what I think of. So this guy will be tough because he will have access to colors that you won't be able to do. And I think if you end up if we make him playable, then we've got little formulas figured out for how to make these imaginary colors, and he'll have just these crazy psychedelic paintings.
mhm.
Like if you manage to make those rare and well, I can't say rare, but like if you manage to make these colors that you'd almost need you need a technique to actually see them. Like to view super orange, you look at something. You take two panels. One of them is orange, and one of them is the visual opposite of that color. And you stare at the opposite panel for like 10 seconds until your brain acclimatizes, and then look at the orange, and it will be more orange than more orange than orange. It's hard to describe, but that's why they're called like imaginary colors.
Mhm.
But
It,
it's the same with yellow and blue.
mhm.
Or no, wait, yellow and blue is when you look with one eye at a yellow panel and with the other eye at a blue panel, and what you see what you'll perceive, what your brain will perceive, is not green, but yellowish blue.
Hmm. Yeah, I see that.
And yeah, there's like those are the two imaginary colors that I remember most clearly. But I'm sure if you search them up, you'll be able to see it. How you'll be able to see others and learn how to see those others.
Stare at blue, a blue square for a while, then at an orange square. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you'd be able to see the contrast between orange and super orange if there's like if the panel is or no wait, if the opposite to orange thing you're looking at is smaller. So then you'll see super orange on top of orange.
Mhm. But yeah, I'd like to think his idle animation, at least on the multiplayer mode, is that he's constantly mixing chemicals, and if he's losing, the chemicals are
They explode.
exploding from the beaker, and
Yeah.
he's just,
And they mess up his
he's
hair.
smiling, but you see, like, stress from his face.
Yeah.
But he's still smiling.
Like
He's just like, I got
if you
this.
remember that if you remember that Wario Blast commercial where he like a bomb explodes in Wario's face, but he's still smiling even though he's losing teeth.
And then we've got this character, childhood prodigy. She has
Mm-hmm.
finger paints and crayons.
Yeah. So we were just talking earlier about yeah, finger paints and crayons, and like what the counterfeiters. If the counterfeiters win against her, then their painting will look like it's done in MS Paint
It will be
or
done
like
in
any
MS
like
Paint.
really low spec paint program.
I am not compromising on that. I am painting it in MS Paint just for that one.
Yeah. But yeah, like if she wins, then her painting will look it will look digital, but she'll only like all of her animations are just using finger paints and wax crayons.
And then finally, we have over here a Cyclops who.
Yeah, she has more color receptors in her eye
Yeah,
than the average than humans.
she's also an insomniac, so when she's losing, she's dozing off. She's always got a
Yeah.
coffee at hand. So if she's doing pretty good, she's guzzling coffee while painting like no tomorrow.
Yeah. What kind of stuff have you been working on lately, guy? Or doing doesn't have to worry. Yeah, the visual effect that I remember the most when it comes to like that brain acclimatizing thing is when I go on a long walk, um, and when I step back inside after a long walk, I will notice that the ceiling seems to be receding away from me because like when you walk for a long time and if the clouds are moving towards you, then your mind will acclimatize to well stuff going towards you in general.
Mm,
So then when you get back inside and you stay still, everything seems to be moving away because your brain is acclimatized to stuff moving towards you.
yeah, but no. Oh, I remember seeing one where you stare at a spiral and then you look at Starry Night, and then the spirals will start turning.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh nope, I'm
I,
dizzy.
yeah, I see that happen with some. There are some like black and white patterns that, because of the way our brains process like light and shadow, um, they the spirals and patterns seem to be moving, even though if you stare at one particular spot, they won't be. I wasn't paying full attention. Did hear me name? Oh yeah. What Phoenix Astra is asking you what kind of stuff you've been working on, or if it's not, what have you been up to in general?
Yeah,
I guess today's turning out more like a podcast than a game dev stream.
right.
But yeah, there's some studies I need to some Godot studies I need to do before we can really make some solid progress.
Here was the concept art.
Launching rockets. And working on robot stuff. Yeah, so we got like for the desktop build, we've got two
It'll be better than
yeah
this,
two
but
playing fields visible, um, like upcoming colors and the animations at the bottom middle, a bit like Super Gem Fighter, or not Super Gem Fighter, Super Puzzle Fighter.
yeah.
Yeah. So then for the mobile layout, we have the painting animations up top, and the playfield and the little palette just to the right of the playfield. So it is what is it, 7 by 11? Yeah, we have a 7 by 11 playfield.
Yeah. Just ignore the grid on this. It's just for
Yeah.
mock-up
This was
purposes.
before we had yeah, this was before we had figured out how big the playfield should be.
Hmm.
Any cool robot ideas? I built a new one recently. It went uh 7,500 feet up, hit Mach 1.3, and experienced 160 plus G's of acceleration. Do these robots do these matches take place outside? Because that sounds kind of dangerous for an indoor stadium, kind of
I think with those they have cages though. If it's indoors,
like a 10,000 foot cage.
I don't know. Eh,
Oh,
okay, maybe in that case.
this was a rocket. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So I built a new one. I was thinking robot, not rocket.
Whoops. Whoops a doodle.
Alrighty.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. For some reason, like my mind immediately goes back to Great Teacher Onizuka and the bottle rocket, which they used to get back at the was it, like the perv gym teacher.
Yeah.
It's always anytime he's doing his thing, he like immediately gets hit by a water rocket.
Yeah.
Fmail, Fmail, Fmalin, Flamin', Flamin' Hot Yeetos. Yeah. Have you ever tried Flamin' Hot Cheetos ice cream?
I have not, but I, I'm
I sort
so
of tried to
weird.
hack one. I sort of tried to hack that together at home with vanilla ice cream and a bag of the Cheetos. It is interesting. It's like it's the appeal is supposed to be that like the cold of the ice cream and the that it is milk is supposed to like suppress the heat, but the heat itself does come later,
Hmm.
and then you just sort of grab another spoonful of ice cream as you do. I don't actually like them, but I couldn't pass up the name once I thought of it.
Like, I can only tolerate one because the, I know this
They're
sounds bad. The spice is
sensitive
too
to heat.
much for me.
Yeah, I like that I'm sensitive that I'm sensitive to spicy foods because I feel like I can I can enjoy them in like smaller bites that way.
Hmm.
But yeah, when I was little, my parents would give me such like the food would be so spicy, and they would be acclimatized to it, but we would not. And they thought they were acclimatizing me and my little sister to spicy food by giving us the spiciest food they could possibly cook.
Oh
But
no.
it had the complete opposite effect. Like I like bland hamburgers and hot dogs,
Hmm.
and like I don't think I'll ever get tired of hamburgers.
Mhm.
Just the plainest beef on a grill, ketchup, mustard, like maybe pickles and onions, sure.
Mhm. I always just live by three seasonings at the very least: salt, pepper, and garlic powder, or some
Garlic
form
powder,
of
yeah.
garlic.
Yeah, that sounds good too.
Hmm.
Garlic burger.
Yep, you can't go wrong with garlic. Sometimes onion, but it always
Yeah.
depends. Um,
Nowadays, I've been pickling soft boiled eggs as like a meaty snack that I can have and that I can save for a while. so they don't have to eat it all at once. And yeah, garlic always goes into that. Garlic and onions, and a little bit of red and black pepper, and um, vinegar, of course, for the pickling, and pickling spices, and pickling salt, and dill. The formula is a lot more complicated than I thought, but it's just so it's just such a good snack. Like I thought I had 32 sweet teeth, but this meaty sour spicy snack is pretty nice too. Sometimes I get nervous if I haven't talked to someone in a while, if it's okay. Yeah, I know the feeling.
I
The
am
worst
I'm
egg.
bad at keeping up.
A good bother once in a while.
Yeah.
Bother.
Poke, 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 poke.
Yeah. I wonder, like, is a birthday a good time to bother someone you haven't spoken to for a while? Because there's like this one friend that I talked to, and we almost exclusively nowadays email each other on his birthday. But there's another friend who, like, I hadn't talked to in like, well, I can't call him a friend. I really don't like this guy nowadays. He's done some bad stuff. But this dude, I haven't talked to, like, at some point I hadn't talked to him in, I don't know, a month or so, and then I wanted to wish him happy birthday, and he got mad about that.
Mm.
He got mad that I reached out to him on his birthday. I want to say that this guy is not normal because, well, he's done some very not normal things. And when I say not normal, I don't mean like he has a vocal tick or something. I mean like criminal stuff that if I went into detail, I think like I'd have to actually go forward with like a court case against him.
Mm.
You have a lot of friends and know a lot of people, and I do too. I think we can both relate to that, especially if you are in many different friend groups and hobbies. Hmm. Yeah, I like that if I want to reach out to someone, there is someone like I know someone at 3 a.m. who would be happy to hear from me, or at least like if they're not there, they wouldn't get mad at me for reaching out to them at 3 a.m.
Right.
Gaming groups, cosplay, D&D online friend groups, and different communities. It gets hard to keep track of it, especially if you bounce hobbies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah, for me, it's the frustration of trying to learn one thing, and like
I wonder.
the way that I cope with being unable to stick to learning one thing is trying to learn a bunch of things so that no one thing gets too boring for me.
Mhm. I feel like I want to do everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I get stuck into so many things. I'm like, I want to build an entertainment system. I want to make jewelry. I want to paint my backgrounds.
Yeah, for me, I feel like doing game dev is what lets me, it caters to my need to learn a lot of different things because there's art, there's music, there's animation,
Mhm.
there's, well, and art itself can even be split into 2D and 3D and vector and raster.
Mhm.
And I want to learn programming, and not just for games, I want to learn programming for web page building and app making and just doing useful stuff.
Mhm.
I knew Guy would get this sometimes. We'd gone for a whole group in 2 to 3 years and then come back like, hey guys.
Yeah. All's good.
Yeah, it's like some days I just feel really good if I can just get a stick figure animation out. Like there's this one that still gets to me from back when I played MMOs, when I played World of Warcraft specifically, in that there seemed to be a trend of when you get a weapon or when you have an action battle system, it's the weapon that determines how fast you attack, not your muscles or your dexterity, but just like the weapon determines on the weapon it says something like 2.3 attacks per second or something like that. And like, why does the weapon say that? And so like I always imagine and I'm sure I posted this one animation at least twice on my timeline. But yeah, I imagine like you have this dagger with a really fast attack speed and a katana on the other hand with a really slow attack speed. And so the dagger is like there's this stick figure and a very confused looking blob enemy. And he's with his left hand, he's stabbing with the dagger 10 times a second. And with the katana, he's slowly moving around. The katana arm is slowly moving around in a circle
Mhm.
to match whatever attack speed it has. And like this just like I know it's like done in a game for balancing purposes, but this is what I imagine happening when someone equips a fast weapon in one hand and a slow weapon in the other.
Mhm. I still need to work on that
Um.
one animation that I did a while back with the Earth, Wind, and Fire song. It just
Oh
sounds so
yeah.
much like an intro. I'm like, I can't not
Hmm.
do this.
I don't animate anymore, but I still care about my animation friends. Still shocked when mine works for Disney now. Yeah. I don't know, like, if do they hire in the normal way, or do they just scout out talented people on on Twitter or whatever and say, "Hey, you want to work for us? We like your animations. You want to work for us now?" Like, I don't know if I would take an animation job because like when I feel inspired to animate, it feels very random. Like some morning I'll be like, I need to animate this idea, and I'll work from morning to night, and then morning to night the next day. Like I figure I'll be done in an hour, and I take 2 days. I think you met them before. Maybe. I went to the VidCon meetup this past summer. Oh,
Oh, nice.
is that for all like video blogger type of people? Ah, met the animator friend on the old Discord. Room with Kowalski.
Oh,
Yeah, I used to be with the local anime convention group. My job was
nice.
running the video game room. It was pretty nice. I ran tournaments on like I brought uh, brought all of my consoles, which was actually pretty heavy. I'm really surprised that they didn't like wear out after all that intensive use. I also used like those arcade sticks
Hmm.
so that well I wouldn't put a lot of wear on my controllers. And a lot of the games that I did tournaments in were games that required digital controls, digital directional controls, and not analog.
Oh, hey guy. Are you on Blue Sky by any chance?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Posting
nice.
some great. Yeah, I don't think I've met Kowalski. Like when I hear the name Kowalski, I think of a Star Fox character. Like I remember one 3D animator on Phoenix's old Discord who I think has fallen out of sort of fallen out of our uh, circle. Kowalski Pandamations.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
That's the one that's working for Disney now. Oh, yeah, I have like very sporadic animations posted. Like before that, like I recently linked my old DeviantArt account, and I heard that DeviantArt is kind of they want in on the AI gravy train. So I'm looking at other places now. There's ArtStation, I believe, and Inkblot, Inkblot.art. So I have, I believe I have accounts on both of those, and for 2D, and Sketchfab for 3D. Although Sketchfab is like Sketchfab will read Blender 3.0 to 3.8 dot blend files, but if you're using Blender 4, then Sketchfab won't read those files anymore. You have to export them to GLTF. which I mean really shouldn't be too much of a problem for me. It's just that when I signed up for Sketchfab, I got used to just uploading a .blend file.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's part of the YouTube animating crew. They do these animation vlogs and story times.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, there was them, Laddie, Brushlight Invader, Pantsless Pajamas, Rude
Oh,
Rhino.
Pantsless Pajamas.
Yeah,
I recognize that name.
yeah, they're a sweetheart.
I've seen a couple of like cartoons reanimated, like in collabs and stuff. There was the Dover Boys and
Oh yeah, the
um,
Dover Boys collab.
yeah, I saw Gooseworks get in on that too. Um, there was the Steamed Hams reanimated collab.
Hmm. There was actually one with that Courage the Cowardly Dog clip that I showed you
Oh yeah,
with Fred,
with Fred.
the barber.
I think I need to see that again.
The one that he was speaking in rhymes and was smiling ear to ear.
Oh yeah, the naughty guy.
Yeah, I was naughty.
Yeah. I remember that line, but like nothing else about the scene. Yeah, he talks in rhymes, and the end of every line is naughty.
Yeah.
Oh, squeaky kitten.
Which I've got to say, of all the Courage villains, both the most threatening yet the least harmful at the same time.
So his bark is worse than his bite.
Yeah, like the worst he does is shave your bald.
I think the most memorable Courage the Cowardly Dog scene for me is still the macaroni and cheese one,
Yeah. Oh gosh.
where he has to remake the entire dish, even if she just asks for more cheese or more macaroni.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Saturday morning cartoon, wasn't it?
Not
So they
really.
couldn't go too far with the horror. Like the
Friday
worst
night.
I've seen was
More of a Friday
the
night
worst I've.
cartoon.
Oh, okay, Friday Night Cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst I've seen would probably be Ren and Stimpy,
Mhm.
and we all know how John K turned out.
Yeah.
And when like apparently John K was kicked from the team when Ren and Stimpy came back for like their for adult party cartoon where they just went unabashedly adult, and the cartoon was just dumb.
But no, they went weird with the horror sometimes, but it was always
Yeah.
met by kooky characters. Like there was always this one guy who was just what was it? There was the cop and all that who was just the most incompetent cop. Just be like looking at all the horror here, and he's like, "Well, my job's done," or "What? Why did you bring me here?"
Well,
And
I
then,
think.
oh, sorry.
Uh-huh. Oh, I was just like I was thinking like of cartoons that I really gotta like revisit and see if they're as good as I remember them. One of them is the Ralph Bakshi Mighty Mouse, because I remember that one being really distinct. Like it on the surface, it just looks like any old regular Saturday morning cartoon, but like I think there might have been some jokes that went over my head. Like when you think about like Tiny Toons getting stuff past the censor
Yeah,
or Freakazoid, I think Mighty Mouse might have done that earlier. Uh, I just remember it being like really distinct. Ralph Bakshi's Mighty Mouse and The Tick, the animated The Tick shows.
spoon.
Yeah, just the one episode that I remember from The Tick most clearly was the evil midnight bomber. What bombs at midnight? I think that was the first time I'd ever heard like a that kind of joke where you just the joke that is just redundantly repeating something,
Yeah,
and the way that the guy talks too.
I don't
Just the
remember
logic in
watching
that show is
too
just
much
just
of the Tick, but I do
yeah.
remember the whole spoon.
Boon. And yeah, when he gets a companion that he thinks it's like a dog that can talk, but it could only talk when the tick has been like beaten so badly that he's punch drunk. And he's trying to convince everyone else that this dog can talk, but it'll never talk.
And then I don't remember too much of Freakazoid, but I do remember watching bits of Tiny Toons and yeah, Animaniacs, of course.
Oh yeah, Animaniacs. That was the other one that I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, they try and sneak stuff past the censors um by writing something that's like way past what they want to do, and then the censors say no, and then they come back with what they really wanted to do, and like the censors are desensitized now, so they just let it through.
I mean, come on.
And they just kept doing it, and it just kept working. So they learned how to game their system.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like oh, what was it? I want to say like everything about Minerva Mink, for instance, was entirely for the older audience because like she was like Minerva Mink and like I want to say a lot of the older characters in general.
Mm-hmm.
Slappy Squirrel did it with like spoken, like her spoken lines,
Mm-hmm.
and the nephew, I forget his name. The nephew Squirrel would always be confused, or like the joke would go over his head.
Yeah.
So they're lampshading this whole process to the viewer, and like I was little at the time, so of course I was identifying with the nephew. Like this joke goes over my head, or it's from like, or I would just assume that it's like some 50s humor or 20s cartoon reference or something like that that I would never get.
Yeah.
But no, she was just getting stuff past the censors.
Good old Warner Brothers Spielberg cartoons.
Mm-hmm. I
Oh,
want to say like I want
sorry.
to say like Ralph Bakshi kind of did the same uh, with Mighty Mouse. Like he was known for the rotoscoped Lord of the Rings movies
Yeah.
and Cool World and Fritz the Cat, the first X-rated animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess he had a reputation for doing like straight up like not getting stuff past the censors, but instead reveling in his films being like R-rated or X-rated.
Yeah.
But then when he did Mighty Mouse, he like just expertly, like he'd been doing it his whole life, just slid stuff past the censors
Right.
to make
Like,
a standout kids cartoon that adults can enjoy too.
mhm.
But that's just how I'm remembering it. I really gotta find some episodes to see if it really was the way I remember it, or if it was really just another cartoon that I don't know. There was something distinct about it.
Mhm. I remember a sorry, random clip here that I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching. I think it was on the Warner Brothers era of Batman, and the Joker was like, "I may be crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no."
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of jokes like that too. Like as a kid, you're just these jokes are so they're just everywhere. So you just I remember laughing as kind of a like laughing at the joke despite not understanding it, just laughing at it because that joke is everywhere and I just assumed it must be funny somehow.
Hmm.
But yeah, like you don't really learn, well, at least my parents didn't teach me about like taxes and what they're for and how you file them until I was like almost all the way through high school,
Hmm.
like nearing 18.
I mean, when I was starting to go to college, my mom let me kind of sit by her and watch as she filed. I'm like, okay, that's it. She's like, yep,
Yeah,
that's it. I'm like, that's not so hard.
yeah.
But I
I feel
also
like
was had Wi-Fi internet at the time, so
oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's how it ought to be. Like you do these things with your kids. Like my friends, some of my friends who are parents, they'll send their kids to brush their teeth. Like times when we were hanging out, uh, this one guy who would invite a bunch of us over to play board games, and as the evening went on, he would send his kids to brush their teeth, and they would come back maybe 1 or 2 minutes later, saying that they brushed their teeth, and we're all playing board games, and he doesn't want to like interrupt the game or anything, so he'll be like, okay, you can go to bed now, and I was thinking like, well, of course, like when you have guests over, it's difficult to observe, but it's like I'm guessing that at least half of the time that these kids disappear for a minute and then come back, they're not brushing their teeth. Maybe they're just running the water and staring at the mirror, kind of thing, you know?
Hmm.
Because that's like, well, I'm guessing because that's what I did when I was sent to do something, and it's just basically get out of sight and waste time while out of sight, spend time while out of sight.
Hmm.
And I feel like they would probably have a better time getting into the habit of brushing their teeth if the parents and kids would brush their teeth at the same time.
Hmm.
You know, like do stuff with your kids, especially if they're like chores or daily habits.
Yeah. I think one thing that
Because yeah,
helped when I was a little kid was that our, at least the main rental house that when I was really little, it
uh huh,
was only one bathroom, so I guess brushing teeth time was like, yeah, okay. Maybe me and my mom brush our teeth or something.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's crazy. I was obsessed with brushing and flossing as a kid. My sister hated it. Yet my teeth are so bad. And they told me, yeah, I was bad with brushing my teeth, but I was lucky. I was lucky as a kid for having. I feel like I had a better than average, like self healing kind of thing. So like my teeth wouldn't get as bad as fast as someone else who didn't brush their teeth as often as the average person should, who didn't brush their teeth every day.
Hmm.
I was obsessed with being a goody two shoes and people pleasing. My parents too. But yeah, like my healing factor is much slower today. So and I've got to take extra good care of my teeth and almost relearn how to brush and floss properly.
Hmm.
I was cleaning all the time, brushing my teeth, very hygienic, like because I was afraid of upsetting or angering them. Yeah, my I could not tell what would make my parents angry. They just seemed angry every day, so I didn't bother not making them angry.
Hmm.
The dentist says I brush too hard. I didn't know that could be a thing.
Hmm.
Sorry, I feel like I derailed the stream. Oh no,
No,
today I'm just I feel like
it is evolved into a casual podcast.
yeah, I feel like it's become a podcast today, and it's just
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
having a
nice
good
change
time.
of
Are you having a
pace.
good time?
Yeah,
So yeah, no harm, no foul.
yeah.
You have not sinned. I captured this screenshot from Dark Souls Remastered a while ago. Like, you meet a guy who, like, if you do something that's considered sinful in the game, you go to him and have your sins absolved. And if you don't have a sin absolved, then you just get this little text box that says you have not sinned with an OK prompt underneath.
Well,
I'm like, that would make a good screenshot.
yeah. To be honest, I brush my teeth once a night, but I'm obsessive about brushing. Yeah, I
Super
do
thorough.
that
Yeah.
every morning to make sure that everything's good and whatnot, and
Yeah.
sometimes at
I have
night.
a Yeah. I have a electric toothbrush
Hmm.
and I'll brush in the shower because like if I brush at the sink, I will it's almost impossible for me to avoid like splattering toothpaste on the mirror.
Hmm.
So I figure it's much easier to just brush in the shower,
I
brush and
have
floss in
a
the shower.
electric toothbrush, and I use a Sensodyne because my teeth can
Okay.
get sensitive. I've only had one cavity so far, but my teeth do get sensitive.
Yeah. I had a few when I was little. When I went to the dentist for them, like this was just at the tail. I'd like to think that we don't use amalgam fillings anymore, but so I'd like to think that when I went to the dentist then, it was just at the tail end of people using amalgam fillings. And yeah, I don't know what the dentist and my parents negotiated, but yeah, I had amalgam fillings put in, and then immediately went back to the dentist to have the amalgam fillings taken out and ceramic fillings put in,
Mm.
which like I guess the dentist made a lot of money off of my insurance. But yeah, it gave me a very it made me very untrusting of doctors and dentists.
Mm. It's like when you find a good dentist, you stick to them. I
Yeah.
found out like the dentist that I used. I thought my mom used that dentist since she was a teenager. No, she used that dentist when she was 5. And yeah, he's just now retiring, so I'm like, hopefully
Yeah,
other
it's
dentists.
very surprising. I asked my like is I had to ask my parents like is our family doctor still alive? Because it's been a really long time since I've seen her, and she already seemed like near retirement age when I was little, but no, she's still alive, still practicing. What happens when she retires? Do we get a new family doctor? Does she like help us find a new family doctor before she retires,
I still
or
need to find a good
does she just
like
like
family
drop
doctor
off the radar?
because the one that I had quit the well quit at her own practice and went out of state. And this is one that I've had since I was a little kid, and she was related to one of my aunts who was married into the family. She was really sweet, but she knew whenever we were things were acting up, she's like, "Okay, I got you covered. You're gonna take this, this, and that. Have fun."
See, I have a soft brush because I say I brush too hard and I still brush too hard. I can't win.
Mhm.
I I like the feeling on my gums when I brush like kind of hard. Like it feels like my gums are getting exercise, getting a workout.
Mm.
But like I don't know. Has anyone ever like is it bad to brush too softly? Like is because like if you brush really softly and it works, then
As long as it gets rid of the plaque, I think that's the main takeaway.
yeah, I guess like all you really want to do is spread the toothpaste and rinse it out.
Hmm.
So you really don't gotta apply that much pressure, do you?
Hmm.
But like for gum stuff, um, like I got a water flosser, and that works really nicely for just cleaning and giving that same feeling to the gums, feeling like the gums are getting exercise. So I could stand to brush softer if I use the water flosser.
Hmm.
They should be able to see how you are brushing. All right. Yeah, I remember my dentist asked to see how I was flossing, and I told them that I used one of those disposable flossers. Like I don't like that I'm adding to plastic waste, but at the same time, I my teeth are some of my teeth are like packed so tightly close to each other that my I feel like I'm cutting off the circulation to my fingers that I have to hold the wire or not wire. I have to hold the floss really tight between them and really wind it so that it doesn't so that I don't lose the grip on it
Hmm.
to get between those teeth. It's much easier to just use one of those disposable flossers that holds the floss as tight as it can.
Right. I I have a similar thing with floss. Like I've had situations where the floss got stuck in between my teeth, so I had to pull it out. I'm like, oh, this is gross.
The
Not what I wanted.
dentist kept saying I had an eating disorder, but it wasn't an eating disorder because I get sick all the time and unfortunately vomit a lot. Ah, so
Oh,
acid through the teeth. But even though I said I don't, they kept saying it anyways.
uh, that's always the
Uh,
worst.
yeah, that's when the dentist keeps saying you have something that you don't, or that you don't have something that you do have. Yeah, it was
Like
so rude.
when the doctor ignores how you know your body works. Crimson flag.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that you needed to look for second opinions on stuff because the doctors just wouldn't believe you.
Hmm.
it's fine because I wasn't. But I was like, that is so rude. If I have the damage, just say I have the damage. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I guess I could only guess that maybe the most. Well, no, they wouldn't say most. Maybe all of the patients that they've seen have had when they see acid damage on the teeth, then that like 100% to them means bulimia or something.
Hmm.
So many of the doctors and dentists on Cape are like this. Yeah, and like how do you break through that wall of ignorance,
Hmm.
or that like do they have like the kind of superiority complex where they just cannot they're not willing to accept that they're wrong about something, or probably I tried to not take it personally, but it was funny. Yeah, I think about like I think there was a crime show on YouTube that covered this one dentist that was just absolutely sadistic. Like he would give he would give his patients like take any excuse to drill into his patient's teeth, and he wouldn't use anesthetic. And in a lot of the cases, they're kids. So when the kids complain to the parents would say that, "Oh, you're just complaining too much," or the
Oh.
dentist would say the kid is complaining too much. And even now, I think like the dentist might still be like alive and practicing and out of prison, and just
Oh no.
there's just nothing in the system that puts corrupt dentists away like that,
Hmm.
or makes them like takes away their job or whatever. Like
Hmm.
that guy should be flipping burgers to make his money. Well, even then,
No.
like he needs a job where he doesn't where there's no chance of him harming someone. So even flipping burgers, you would be underqualified for.
Pushing
Maybe
buttons to
mixing
an
some
offline server.
a
He shall be a Stanley.
Reddit moderator, maybe. if
Maybe.
those if a Reddit moderator gets paid. I should find a new dentist. I haven't even looked since I moved. Oh yeah,
Oh, that's always so hard.
I have a dentist, but
I'd imagine.
yeah, like I kind of made a snap decision when I picked my current dentist, but I can't even go see my current dentist because I need to get my HVAC on track.
Hmm.
In order to get HVAC on track, I need to fix my car. But in order to run my fixed car, in order to run my car, so that it can be fixed, and after it's fixed, I need to renew my vehicle registration.
I probably should get a cleanup on my end too. Uh, but
Definitely prioritize dental. It's super important. The more you delay, the worse it can get. Even if things look perfect, it's good to check. Yeah.
yes.
It's even harder when you generally don't trust dentists and doctors to find like to even give someone a chance,
Right.
because you're on the alert for like what kind of scheme is he running.
Right. Because gosh, I remember my dad was so messed up. Like when he finally got cleaned up and all this and that,
Mm-hmm.
he his first priority is get his teeth fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And he just went to the closest one nearby, and the closest one nearby were quacks who didn't know how to handle all that. And then when he went to the one that me and my mom were going to, he's like, "Why did I not go to this one?" And my mom pointed out because he didn't like the amount of painkillers he was giving you. And he barely gives you any, but the thing is, he numbs you well, so that way you don't
Mm.
need as much painkillers.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Topical, or was it local anesthetic?
like needle. Like that's the worst
Oh
you
yeah,
feel. But after
the
that,
needle in the gums.
that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't stand that when I was little.
But like
It's like
even pulling
it feels
teeth.
like wherever it was that they inject the anesthetic, it feels like it's stretching that area like it's gonna tear or something,
Mhm.
and it feels so horrible before the anesthetic like eventually takes effect. It feels like they're pumping you full of goo.
Mm. Like, honestly, the one that I had, it felt like a sting, but then you feel nothing. Like,
Mm.
even pulling teeth, like, I just felt him pulling. And I was expecting pain because my dad's like, you gotta grip the chairs, you gotta brace yourself. You know, he was psyching me up for
From
the
the days
worst.
before. Mm.
And I was panicked. So
Mm-hmm.
he numbed me
Understandably.
and he just yanked it out and he's like, I'm all done. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like I remember having an operation where I was just like I was lying on my stomach. They had to take a little cylinder, like a cross section of my skin to analyze it. And they were going to take this little cylinder of skin out of my back. It would be about a 1 centimeter, half an inch radius. And they're talking to me and while I'm on my stomach like this, and they're doing the anesthetic. Like I'm not feeling anything, and they're going like, so how are you doing right? How are you doing right about now? And I'm like, well, I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to feel. And they're like, oh, we've been done for a while. Like they did the anesthetic, they took the cylinder of skin out of me, and they bandaged up the area, like all while we were just talking, and I didn't even notice anything had happened. Like I wish dental could be like that for me.
When I had my wisdom teeth extracted, I had them knock me out entirely.
Oh yeah.
I did, yeah, they did that with two of my teeth. They just put me
Uh-huh.
under and surgically removed them.
Hmm.
And
Do you remember?
they had to put a cadaver bone in one of my jaws. Well, one of the
Okay.
sides. Don't look up
Yeah,
what a
when I had
cadaver
my
bone is.
a bone from a cadaver.
Yeah,
The name kind of gives it away.
yeah, I guess.
Did did they tell you whose it was, or did they just say someone, or is it like a privacy thing?
It might be a privacy thing, but my cousin, who was also like a cleaning specialist, she's like, it's completely sterile. You're fine.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't assume they'd put a nasty,
Yeah,
like unsterilized, not a Pokemon, a corpse, a bone from a corpse.
yep, yep.
But yeah, I wasn't told about any cadaver bones or anything. But yeah, when I had my final two wisdom teeth taken out, I'm just like, put me out.
Hmm.
And I remember going under. Like, I wanted to remember what it's like to be under like general anesthetic.
Hmm.
And I remember like they're telling me to count down from 10, and I remember I had 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then suddenly my whole life just like I saw black, as if the TV in front of my eyes had been turned off,
Right.
or like it had been unplugged. And then I want to say 3 seconds after that, like in my memory, I know that you don't remember
You
anything.
made it to
Your brain isn't
three.
writing anything. Yeah, I made it to 3, at least as far as I remember, because I don't know, my memories might be messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because yeah, when you're out, your brain doesn't write anything to long-term memory. So what I remember is about 3 seconds after that, waking up, everything looking foggy. It's not like waking up from a sleep, but like the TV getting plugged back in and slowly shifting into focus. I see a lot of fuzz, and I hear someone like, I feel like I want to wake up and watch Saturday morning cartoons, but the TV in front of me is fuzzy, and someone is yelling at someone. I realized that it was one of the medical assistants trying to wake me up, but it really doesn't feel like, I know I should urgently feel like I'm waking up, but I don't feel like it's urgent, and I want to either sleep a little bit. I feel all warm, and I feel like I'm surrounded in a blanket. And then when I finally see everything straight, and I'm like, oh, I am awake. I better get back to the car. And so the person helps me up and helps me walk. And I notice that I really have to use a washroom, but I can't go to the washroom until I get back home.
I was like,
And when
he
they
was
knock me
like,
out for surgery.
okay, 10.
Saturday morning cartoons. I have a 2 hour gap in my memory after I woke up. I want to like download a bunch of old school Saturday morning cartoons one day and be like stream them randomly. Yeah, we like after our streams we usually watch a little something for a little while, and yeah, like I said, we got through GTO. We're going through Slayers. I've got Samurai Pizza Cats lined up, which was one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons.
Outlast
This was
Star.
before I, yeah, Outlaw Star as well, yeah. And what's after that? Irresponsible Captain Tyler. Um, but yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats was one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons, and it was just like there was a lot of anime in the cartoons I had growing up, but I didn't know what anime was until Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball came along.
Yeah, I kind of want to circle back to the being put under anesthetic because I had one more
Uh huh.
story. Uh,
Uh huh.
there was one time, well, when I had my gallbladder surgery, I
Mm.
remember the day of, it was at, the surgery was at the end of the day. So the whole day I was panicked, and my mom was like, "Is there anything you can do to help her calm down?" They're like, "Okay, we're on it." Like, so I slept most of the day.
Uh
Then they
huh.
put me under anesthetic, and
Mm-hmm.
I just remember waking up bits and pieces. Like, I remember rolling to the um place, and then I do remember actually being on the surgery table, but after that, just nothing. And then trying to
Yeah.
wake up during recovery, but that was hard.
Do you remember like a time span of nothing, or was it like you feel they put the anesthetic on you and suddenly you're waking up?
Um, they.
Because I remember, I want to say like 3 seconds of nothing.
I can't remember time, I just remember blips. Like, being rolled
Okay.
to the operation area, and I remember vaguely being on the operation table.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything else. I was all the way just out after that, and then I remember waking up in recovery, and yeah. And then next thing I knew, I was back in my room, and my
All right.
cousins, my mom was there, one of my friends was there. I'm like, ah, everyone's here, and I'm drowsy. And then I
Like
fell
I
asleep till like
remember,
3 a.m.
I think like that time that I went under, it was the first time that I would, as far as I can remember, that I went under general anesthetic. So I wanted to try and remember everything as clearly as I could. So my brain was like, up until the moment of being knocked out, I was like on high alert, and my brain was writing everything it could into like short and long term memory or whatever. So that's probably why I remember it so clearly.
Like, the most I remember is waking up. When I woke up, I realized it feels like a softball in my guts.
Mm.
Because, you know, removing an organ.
Yeah, or at least removing the 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 parts of it that are bad,
They removed it
that are harmful
entirely.
bad. Oh yeah, the entire gallbladder.
Yep. Yep. Because once it's disease like that, it's not going to stop.
Oh, okay.
And you could live without it. So it's better to
Okay.
just
Yeah.
have it ripped out and not deal with it. Because gallstones, they
What
feel
is
like.
it?
Huh?
What does it normally do again?
Uh,
It produces some kind of bile to help you digest
yep.
something, right?
It produces bile to help you digest. And the thing was, I was getting gallstones that were, I had two that were a little under the size of a gumball, but it felt
Mm.
like a sword was pierced through me, and I felt it all the way to my back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember my mom was having the same kind of trouble. I
Mm-hmm.
think she had the same kind of surgery around the same time too.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it can be different for different people, because, like, when my mom had that, because I think it's kind of hereditary, um, my mom had it, she didn't have those symptoms. She just constantly felt sick. And there was one time a doctor just told her, "Oh, it's just hepatitis. You'll be fine." Yeah. And then she had debilitating pain one day. They went to a hospital, and there was a good doctor and a bad doctor. The bad doctor said, you know, we're not running a charity because she didn't have insurance at the
Yeah.
time. And the good doctor came in. because she was about to leave. He was like, no, listen, if you leave, you're gonna die within a week. And he was like, we'll work with you, we'll get this taken care of. So they did. He never billed my mom. The other guy did. And she threw his bill away, and she's like, he just worked for charity.
When I woke up after wisdom tooth removal, I tried to speak with cotton wads in my mouth. They gave me a notepad, and I started writing something. And a couple hours later, I was laying on the couch watching the TV, and I'd apparently been awake the whole time. Whoa.
I mean, I'd like to hope that that person got removed from the board of doctors or whatnot.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Did I'm wondering what it was that you were writing. Did it just give you a notepad to communicate? Because yeah, like when I had my second wisdom tooth removed, um,
Huh.
they were telling me that I had to take like extra care and keep cotton wads in my mouth, or what was it, gauze. I had to bite down on some gauze, but not bite down too hard. But yeah, basically to keep the gums from bleeding
It was a whole
and
week of
for a proper clot to form.
lukewarm instant noodles and
Yeah,
ice cream.
soft foods only. Yeah, I think I mostly like I had meal replacement drinks, so I more or less just subsisted on those.
I think the first thing I had was a milkshake, and it was a bad decision because my mouth was numb.
Mm.
How did you eat steak on day three?
I know a local friend who said something similar.
Oh,
Like she either recovered, well, she claimed
lucky.
that like it hurt, but she didn't care. So I guess she just had a very like a really high pain tolerance, at least in the mouth area.
Hmm.
I'd like to think I have a high pain tolerance, just not in the mouth or gum area.
Hmm.
Like if my hands hurt, if my legs hurt, that's fine. If my middle hurts, that's probably where I can ignore the most if my middle hurts. But if my mouth hurts, then like not even the tiniest bit of pain. Like I need something. I need an answer. I need answers and I need medicine.
Hmm. I think anything from the head up, well, from the neck up, is just pain.
Tanabe.
Aww.
I have a decent tolerance to teeth pain, but what hurts is if I get migraines from the teeth pain. Oh yeah.
Mm.
I want to say I sort of have um, a tolerance to headaches, but that's just because when I started drinking coffee, I would have like the headache would tell me I'm drinking too much coffee,
Hmm.
or like, oh, media headaches as well. When we had cathode ray tube TVs, like, so if I was watching TV for too long, I'd get what I would call a media headache.
Hmm. And I still,
So the headaches just became kind of a signal to me more than a pain.
I sometimes still deal with like throat aches from allergies, but usually, well, sometimes it's either take Motrin, they'll ease it, do like a mouthwash to clear, or sometimes tea.
Okay. Yeah, I get headaches like all the time. I can't tell if it's sodium, caffeine, or something else. Yeah, I'm not sure how, but I think I can guess with decent accuracy if I have a headache what it's from. Whether it's usually, well, more often than not, it's from either too much caffeine or caffeine withdrawal. And if it's a caffeine withdrawal, then I'll just wait it out.
Hmm.
I gotta head off for now. Good chatting again. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice chatting with you. I want to say for the first time, but I think I've seen you on some of our previous streams before. It was nice meeting you for the first time again.
Nice chatting with you guys. Uh, I will need to chat again, stay in touch and such. I'm horrible at that, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
a few times. All right. but a while ago. Yeah, it'll be nice to see you on future streams.
Oh, I wonder if we can invite him to Secret Stage.
Hmm. Yeah, you're a creator.
Let's,
Be nice to plan some things together.
yeah, let's invite people. Doot. Boop. And sent.
Yeah, for upcoming games, there's two in particular that I'm looking. Well, three. There's one ongoing and two upcoming. Actually, no, there's two ongoing and two upcoming that we're looking for more players in. The ongoing ones are Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and Warframe, and the upcoming ones are Fantasy Life I and Dark Souls Remastered for Switch. But yeah, there's also a couple of things that are ongoing with that we have four players in, but I don't think it would be too much trouble to occasionally swap players in and out. And those are the Stardew Valley that we do, and Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
Yeah. So, I think this might be a good time to call it a day because it's been a long. I think
Yeah, we've been podcasting for 2 hours.
Yeah. All right. Thank y'all for joining. And yeah, I hope to do more of this soon because, yeah, that was nice.
Oh no.
It worked perfectly.
Yeah. It's very late. I mean, it's not that late. I mean, we do a little bit of a watch party afterwards, so running over time a little bit isn't too bad.
Yeah. All right. Good night, y'all.
Till next time.
Yeah.